everyone. Welcome to News Round, a recap of stories that made headlines during the week. I'm Teniola Shiboale. The headlines. President Muhammadu Buhari unveils the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited, says new company will guarantee energy security in the country. Central Bank of Nigeria raises interest rates from 13% to 14%. The Economic and Financial Crimes Commission arraigns former Accountants General of the Federation, Ahmed Idris, and 3 others on charges of stealing and criminal breach of trust to the tune of 109.4 million naira. Plus, sweltering temperatures in Europe as countries hit record temperatures while wildfires rage on. That's News Round in View. We begin News Round in Abuja, the nation's capital, where President Muhammadu Buhari officially unveiled the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited, changing the oil firm from a state-run entity to a commercial oil company limited by shares. The new entity is expected to be managed as a private energy enterprise. The official unveiling comes weeks after the corporation transitioned into a company whose operations will be regulated by the Companies and Allied Matters Act.
A lot of catching up to do here from players in this industry. Project promoters, heads of agencies, bankers, IOCs, indigenous asset owners, and people from the gamut of services in the oil and gas industry. The venue, the State House, also underscores the magnitude of the step being taken in translating an enterprise that's always been state-owned into a commercial entity now stripped of sovereign guarantees for accessing funds.
Sharing agreement.
44 years after, the NNPC Limited, courtesy of a new set of regulations called the Petroleum Industry Act, is being unveiled and to be charged to go start a new life in the world of global energy business space. Quite a lot of time was allowed for folks to interact, which eventually paved way for President Muhammadu Buhari to join the ceremony. Mr. President is the man of the moment, and proudly so. He has a history with the national oil company that is today transforming right before his eyes. And of course, he played a significant role both times.
We are transforming our petroleum industry to strengthen its capacity and market relevance for the present and future global energy priorities. The provision of PIA 2021 have given the Nigerian petroleum industry a new impetus with improved fiscal framework, transparent governance, enhanced regulation, and the creation of a commercially driven and independent national oil company.
And for the man who is the last group managing director of NNPC as a corporation and the first group CEO of the new company, he will superintend over the company's large asset, which should give tangible value.
This indeed is a new day, a new hope and a new opportunity to upscale our relevance in the global energy community as Africa's largest energy company by deepening natural gas production to create low-carbon alternatives and positively change the story of energy poverty at home. We have taken a strategic initiative to achieve our mandate of ensuring energy security for our country by rolling out a comprehensive expansion plan to grow our fuel retail presence from the 547 to over 1,500 outlets within the next 6 months.
By the books, we are told that owing to encumbrances of how the corporation was run, we lost about $70 billion inflow, and a reversal of such trend is what government seeks.
The NNPC Limited will operate as a profitable commercial entity and declare dividends to its shareholders. The company will demonstrate higher levels of performance and accountability to continue to win the hearts of its over 200 million shareholders.
Then this icing. So what's the implication of the new NNPC Limited on the nation's finances?
What it means to the fiscals of the Federation is that they will be paying to the government taxes, all categories of taxes that companies are to pay, and also be paying dividends to the government. What will be significantly different is that they will not be remitting to the Federation on a monthly basis revenue on sales. So we have to wait until their accounts are reviewed and audited, and we will work out a process how that will work in a seamless manner to make sure that the Federation is adequately funded.
And for the business community, who now have a new entrant and competitor?
You can't really compare us with the NNPC. NNPC is a much bigger, larger corporation with a lot of reserves and oil and gas, and really they are going to go up there and do quite well.
The countdown is on. The clock has started to tick. Africa's largest company has emerged. So the PowerPoint presentations should pave way for action points. Olu Phillips, Channels Television News.
And for the second time this year, Nigeria's Central Bank's Monetary Policy Committee has raised the benchmark interest rate by 100 basis points to 14%. The announcement was made by the CBN Governor, Mr. GovernorElect, at the end of the NPC's two-day bi-monthly meeting in Lagos.
To advise you. You may go to your bank.
It's the office of the Central Bank of Nigeria's governor, but this time in Lagos State. It's the first time the NPC is meeting here since the regulator moved its headquarters to the Federal Capital Territory. But this does not change the unpleasant fact that economic parameters are not at its best.
It's almost costless, at least today.
At the May NPC in Abuja, the meeting adopted a hawkish stance, joining the rest of the world to hike the monetary policy rate. It went from 11.5% to 13%. Since then, inflation has moved from 17.71% for the month of May to 18.6% for June, a major consideration for the NPC. There's also the huge supply disruption occasioned by the ongoing war in Ukraine and fueling energy costs.
NPC did not even take any look at the issue of whether to hold rates constant or to loosen, because we know some people would have expected that having tightened last time by 150 basis points, some of the analysis we've watched or read is that, look, we should not continue to increase rates because it will increase the cost of borrowing, by borrowers. It may also weaken manufacturing output and the rest of them. We agree, and I believe, and I want to signal, the Monetary Policy Committee is very determined that if inflation continues at this rate, particularly aggressively, we would continue to tighten.
The CBN governor did not mince words when expressing the stance and future decision of the NPC. But even before now, economists have been reacting.
We've been having conversation of what is the assurance that increasing interest rate will actually deal with inflation and not cause a stagflation in the economy. But the NPC has said that it's also taking into cognizance the fact that the CBN is working on developmental financing, and that should be able to balance it.
Finding a balance is the motivation for the CBN's disbursement of 741 billion naira loans so far for the developments in agriculture. 130 billion naira to 176 hospitals, and rebate for the second quarter of 20 billion naira to exporters through the RT 200 program, which according to the regulator has generated about $3 billion as of June 2022.
The limit to what the monetary policy can do, there's a limit to how much you can use monetary policy to fight, the ills or correct the ills in the economy. What they can do, like I said, is looking at things like interest rates and trying to think of the currency. But it doesn't solve the problem. If you don't get the fiscal side of things correct, then you're going to continue to struggle with your monetary policy. Even if you were to raise rates today to, say, 20%, it doesn't necessarily guarantee you inflows coming into the country. because people who come in would still struggle to go out because you have issues on the currency side.
While some economists may not agree totally with the hiking of rates, the coming days will show how effective or not this approach is in dealing with inflation in Nigeria. Ini John Mekwa, Channels Television News.
Into legal matters, the former Accountant General of the Federation, Mr. Ahmed Idris, and his co-defendants will be spending some time at the Kuje Correctional Center pending the hearing of their bail application. This follows the order of the Federal Capital Territory High Court after the accused pleaded not guilty to a 14-count charge bordering on stealing and criminal breach of trust to the tune of 109.5 billion naira.
Surrounded by operatives of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, the suspended Accountant General of the Federation, Ahmed Idris, and 3 others are at the Federal Capital Territory High Court, Abuja, for their arraignment by the Commission. The courtroom is filled with lawyers, members of the public, and the media who are here to witness the arraignment. The arrival of the judge signals the commencement of the case. The defendants take to the dock and plead not guilty to the 14-count charge preferred against them. The defendants' counsel urged the court to maintain the administrative bail granted to the clients by the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, since they have never breached any of the conditions by the Commission, and the Commission is still in possession of their international passports. However, the prosecution counsel, Mr. Rotimi Jacobs, objected to the submissions of the defendants' counsel, stating that the decision would send a wrong signal to the general public. He adds that the defendants only enjoyed the administrative bail when the matter wasn't charged to court, but now bail is at the discretion of the court. After listening to both parties, the trial judge, Justice Adeyemi Ajayi, ordered that the defendants be remanded in Kuje Correctional Facility pending the hearing of the bail application. Nevertheless, the defense counsel says the charges are not what is portrayed in the public.
As equally curious and anxious as every other member of the society, I want to see the details of this matter. And from the bit I have seen in the proof of evidence, is a far cry from the humongous figures, fantastic sums that are being bundled. You can see that this whole charge is being used to suppress and cover something else. And I'm very confident that this trial will expose that thing that is trying to be suppressed.
However, the EFCC counsel refused his claim.
You will see what was in the media before. It's the same amount, it's the same figure. And you see the confessional statement there. It's only in our country that somebody who make a confessional statement will still come before the world and tell the world that he's innocent. So it has to tell you about our value system. Get the confessional statement made by all of them. These some were admitted by them. So it's not a question of being played to the gallery or saying something different. It is a exact figure that you people reported that is in the charge. And they themselves, in their own handwriting, in the presence of their own lawyer, admitted it.
Other defendants in the matter are Olusegun Akindele, Mohammed Usman, and Gazawa Commodity Market and Exchange Limited. The judge subsequently adjourned the case to July the 27th for hearing on their bail application.
When News Round returns, All Progressives Congress unveils Senator Kashim Shettima as vice presidential candidate to run with the party's flag bearer, Asiwaju Bola Tinubu. Please stay with us. Thanks for staying with us. The All Progressives Congress has unveiled Senator Kashim Shettima as the vice presidential candidate to run with the party's flag bearer, Asiwaju Bola Tinubu. At the event held at the Musa Yar'Adua Center in Abuja, the former Borno State governor says he believes in the Nigerian project and he will not allow religion to be a distraction if elected as vice president of Nigeria. And for Asiwaju Tinubu, the 2023 presidential election is a must-win for the APC.
It's a carnival-like atmosphere ahead of the official presentation of the vice presidential candidate of the All Progressives Congress, APC. Every available space inside the hall is taken by party faithful, including governors, party officials, and some federal lawmakers. For the governors, the party is fielding the best candidates for the top job.
Asiwaju is someone who has spent a lifetime building the Nigerian project, participating in a very imaginative way of unifying Nigeria.
The nominee of our party is someone that I've known for a very long time, who I served with as governor, and whose capacity, commitment, competence, and compassion I've always admired.
Before presentation proper, the national chairman of the party defends the choice of Senator Kashim Shettima.
The APC vice presidential candidate in the 2023 presidential election is distinguished Senator Kashim Shettima. This is our vice presidential aspirant. Do we accept him? Senator Tinubu, our candidate, could not have made a better choice for a running mate. He chose a man he believes can partner with him to undertake the urgent task of our economic recovery.
In his acceptance speech, the vice presidential candidate asked Nigerians to unite and avoid religious fault lines.
About 30 years ago, Nigerians from both sides of the Niger came together to market the ideals of a ticket like ours. They overlooked the pedestrian attempts to politicize the religious affiliations of the presidential candidate and running mate, and yielded to the message of hope and the manifesto of prosperity promised them. The MKO Abiola and Babagana Kingibe ticket defied the stereotype of Nigerians as hopelessly sectional and incapable of prioritizing reason over sentiments.
On his part, the presidential candidate of the party wants Nigerians to be wise in their thoughts and courageous in their actions in order to win the election.
We must win this election so that we can bring jobs, eliminate poverty, educate our children, bring up our grandchildren without thinking of religious division nor ethnic differences.
Though the decision on the choice of his running mate is prerogative, the party's presidential candidate says his choice is a product of wide consultation with party members.
And Nigeria is at a dangerous crossroads, especially in the area of the economy and security. Well, that's the submission of speakers at the official unveiling of the vice presidential candidate of the New Nigeria People's Party, NNPP, Bishop Isaac Idahosa. The running mate to the presidential candidate of the party, Senator Rabiu Kwankwanso, is a clergyman from Edo State and promises to work harmoniously with his principal to rescue Nigeria if his party is voted in by Nigerians in 2023.
Come, you can have your seat, ladies and gentlemen.
The New Nigeria People's Party is preparing to claim victory in the 2023 presidential election.
The Secretary of
Leading the charge is the national chairman of the party, who captains the ruling All Progressives Congress and the main opposition, the People's Democratic Party, for allegedly resorting to vote buying in the Osun governorship election and other previous elections.
The NNPP wishes to categorically condemn the recent trend of vote buying rearing its ugly head in Nigerian political space. We could therefore implore every Nigerian to be vigilant as the political drums toward 2023 general election become louder by the day, and to ensure that our collective franchise is not mortgaged by selfish politicians.
The vice presidential candidate is then unveiled, and he toes the line of the national chairman of the party, pledging to work with the party's presidential candidate to turn around the fortunes of the country.
It is obvious
To every Nigerian at home and in the diaspora, we are at a critical moment as a nation, and our unity and tenacity as a people is being tested. However, the willpower of all Nigerians is most needed at this junction, so let us all come together and take back our destiny in our hands.
The state of a nation is a major concern for the presidential candidate of the party and is pledging to address the problem of insecurity, economic challenges, and industrial action by the Academic Staff Union of Universities, ASU.
Fellow compatriots, we in the NNPP believe that healing these wounds is the first step towards putting Nigeria in the path of security, prosperity, enduring unity, sustainable development, and global respect.
Political campaigns are expected to start in September, and the party is hoping to cause a major upset in its first foray into the general elections.
And still on politics, Senator Ademola Adeleke has received his certificate of return as Osun State Governor-elect from the Independent National Electoral Commission. The presentation, which took place in INEC's head office in Osogbo, comes 72 hours after Adeleke was declared the winner of the Saturday, July 16 poll, garnering 403,371 votes to defeat Mr. Adeboyega Oyetola of the All Progressives Congress, who polled 375,027 votes.
It's a brief ceremony in Osogbo, the Osun State capital, as officials of INEC, family members of the governor-elect, Senator Ademola Adeleke, and party officials gathered to witness the presentation of the certificate of return. The venue could not accommodate a large crowd, but it was large enough to seat the important dignitaries. The Independent National Electoral Commission makes reference to the July 16 governorship election in Osogbo, which ended with Senator Adeleke announced as the winner.
Osun State gubernatorial election has come and gone, but I need to reiterate this point, that our democracy will be stronger if we come together to do the right things at the right time and for the people who are actually the beneficiaries of the democracy.
With the successful conduct of the Osun State governorship election, the Commission would like to assure Nigerians that this has become the standard of election management in Nigeria.
72 hours after the governorship election, Senator Adeleke receives his certificate of return. And in his usual dramatic manner, he leaves nothing to chance, placing the document under his arm.
This victory would not have been possible but for the goodwill of the patriotic men, young and old, who work hard to make sure we reclaim our stolen mandate. I am overwhelmed by your love and support, and I do not take this trust you have bestowed on me for granted. Our state has now turned to a new page, and we can now look forward to a bright future and a path for progress and prosperity for our people. Others for insisting on free and fair election. I dedicate this victory to my late brother, the first executive governor of Osun State, His Excellency Senator Isiaka Adeleke, and every indigent of Osun State.
The stage is now set for the governor-elect to be sworn in and assume office at the governor's complex in Osogbo, the state capital, fulfilling his long-time ambition of becoming the governor of Osun State.
And finally on News Round, temperatures are still rising across Western Europe as a ferocious heat wave heads north. Heat warnings were issued in France and in the UK, while temperatures in Spain will hit their 40s.
Dozens of fires have erupted across the country, scorching acres of land and forcing authorities to evacuate people from their homes. One passenger on a train traveling through areas affected by wildfires in Zamora described a little hellish situation when flames burned around the train and the journey came to a halt.
What I was amazed is that this was the first time that I saw how quickly a fire can spread.
Almost the entire country faces an extreme fire risk, with fires burning thousands of hectares in Galicia, Castile, Leon, Catalonia, and other parts. In France, many in the capital, Paris, have been seeking shade, cold drinks, and ice cream. Some tourists decided to visit a museum in the afternoon to avoid the hottest hours of the day. As part of a heatwave program, some city halls open cool rooms to allow the elderly and frail people relax under a cool atmosphere. In other parts of Europe, the Netherlands recorded its hottest day of the year so far on Monday, with temperatures reaching 33.6 degrees Celsius. Belgium and Germany are expected to see temperatures around 40 degrees Celsius in the coming days. Temperatures in Portugal hit 47 degrees Celsius last Thursday, a record for July. Most of the country has been placed under high fire danger by the National Meteorological Office, IPMA.
And that's News Round this week. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Tenio Lashibowale. Enjoy the rest of your weekend.